And we're live.
Okay, hello and welcome to the Puckin Awesome Hockey Podcast. I guess I am Cora, the resident Leafs fan.
I am Cassie, the resident Sabres fan.
I'm Terry, the resident Stars fan.
It's just us tonight.
Not a diminished roster.
Hopefully we don't disappoint.
Yes. So we want to get an update on the score.
Yes, it's 1-0 to go into the Kings in Los Angeles. And it's scored by Muzzin on the power play.
Very good. That just happened too. So, all right. So let's jump into this. Which series are we going to talk about first?
Well, I'd say let's talk about Montreal, New York first. Let this game get a little further into it before we talk about them.
Well, I didn't think it was possible because the high school series already happened with Boston and Montreal, but the Rangers Montreal season is topping it.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's you almost forget that there are actually games on the ice being played because there's so much crap going on off the ice.
Seriously.
And they're making it into news. It's like, well, he said this, and then the coach says this, and then he said this. It's like you're constantly being updated with who said what.
And some of it is being taken out of context by the media, of course, and being twisted another way, and it's making things worse. So.
Are we talking about what Darian said?
I think no, the Briere comment. He had made some.
Oh.
He had made a comment, and it was taken out of context.
It's hard to keep up with that.
About Stefan yelling during after breaking his jaw.
Yeah.
Do people not realize that people who break their jaw can't talk because their jaw gets wired shut? Like, I've known several people who've broken their jaw. They can talk just fine until they have the surgery and their jaw gets wired shut.
Wasn't this during the game, though?
Yeah.
But the comment sounded like he was saying that his jaw probably wasn't broken because he was yelling, which I don't think is what Briere was really saying.
Yeah, it was taken out of context by a media player, and it was. I have to find the exact quote.
I can look at it.
But Briere's also said a few things that have been a little. He also made a comment that McDonough is a great defenseman, but I've never seen a guy slash this much since Pronger. So
it's and I've said this before. I said this during the Boston-Montreal series. It's gamemanship. They're saying it to get under the other team's skin, but the fans take it like it's absolute gospel.
Mm-hmm. And the media loves it.
Yeah, it's them talking shit to each other. But the fans are like, well, he said it, so it must be true. Or he said it, so that means he's an evil person. Like, chill out.
Yeah, it's.
No, it was Gallagher who said the.
Oh,
okay.
God. And LA scored again.
They're scary.
Yeah. What did? Okay, where was it? That was the one that was taken out of context, correct?
About the draw? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's... And then it's like, well, he texts Stepan to apologize, and then he agrees with suspension. There's just so much everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. People are saying it wasn't head contact, but you can't really tell because of the way the hit occurred. But it looked like it was like right at that area because his head was kind of down, like the top of his chest and his jaw, and obviously hit him in a way that his head kind of snapped back.
Yeah.
And also, it may have hit him in the jaw.
You don't have to get hit like in the side of the jaw to have a broken jaw. I've known.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like I know really accident-prone people, but I just know really drunk people. I've known 2 people who have broken their jaw by hitting their chin.
It happens.
So people a lot of times, like there was the one I think with Marchand during the season when he went down and he got hit in one knee and grabbed the other knee, and people were like, oh, he's faking it, he can't even grab the right knee, when really it was how he fell, twisted the other knee. People think that they're doctors when they watch a hit. They're like, well, he didn't hit him exactly here. So clearly, the injury is this. And it doesn't work like that.
It almost sounds like a whole bunch of whining as well.
Yes.
Just whining about everything.
It's the playoffs.
No, well, yeah. And I think the person who really, we all know Lundqvist is good. There's no denying that. I think the person who really needs a lot of the praise right now is Sikorsky. Let's last night, Montreal's on another freaking power play, or was it the second power play of that time, or the first one? I don't know. And they get a shorthanded goal. It was like 6 minutes in the first period, at like the beginning, that New York spent on the penalty kill, and it was just atrocious because they had been on the power play once, and it wasn't that great. But then Montreal somehow managed to make theirs look spectacular.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
Choosing to start Tokarski was a risk and a gamble, and even though they're not up in the series, it seems to have paid off. He's done well.
Yeah.
He can't single-handedly win the game, but he's done pretty well.
Well, the defense, I feel like he's been kind of left out. Montreal's defense needs to work as well. So many other aspects of the team just needs to come together.
It's kind of impressive how far they've gotten with a team that's something I would consider a threat with the way it's constructed right now. Obviously they're a contender because they've made it this far, but it's kind of amazing that they have.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think if LA is playing like this, if Montreal comes back and makes it to the finals, they get crushed.
Oh, yeah. They've already shown, the Rangers, the Rangers are a good team. The Rangers have shown that the Bell Center is not scary anymore.
Right.
And with the way they're playing at the Bell Center, the way these Kings players are playing, which is frightening, I'd be quaking my boots. But then again, I'd be quaking if I was New York at the same time. They only have one more game to go, but it looks like LA is going to win this, and it's my prediction they're going to win this. Who knows? Anything can happen. But
yeah,
God, they're scary.
I'm terrified of the Rangers right now. If I was any of the remaining teams, I'd be terrified.
Oh, yeah. Lundqvist is just
They're on fire.
Yeah.
And what is it? They're now, since Stepan's out, it's like their top 3 centers are out. I don't know who their centers are.
That is something to actually think of. That could really hurt them.
Yeah. But, I don't really know of any major injuries on the Kings squad. Although I don't know this Kings squad as well as I should.
Their scratches aren't... Jeff Schultz is like the biggest one I can notice, but the others don't seem to be a big deal for being scratched. I think they're all injuries.
Well, since we seem to be talking about both series at once, I don't know what's going on with Chicago. It's not like them. These goals are coming, and not just this game, but they're coming when Chicago's bobbling the puck and mishandling the puck a lot in their own zone, and that's just really not like them.
Yeah, it's not right.
I don't know what happened between the St. Louis series and this one, but somewhere along the way, because the Minnesota series, they looked good, they looked really good, but somewhere in the mix, when they turned it on the St. Louis series, it really looked like their spark was back. The spark they had last year was back, and now it seems to have gone out again.
Well, that's why I thought it was interesting what Coach Q said at the game where they lost. What was it? 6? Was LA King scored 6 goals?
That was brutal. I turned that game
Said,
off.
we played. He said we played for 38 minutes and then we just kind of stopped playing.
Right.
And I was like, I think it's a bit more than that. I mean, I thought that was a very simplistic view on how to view it because it's. I don't know. They're just. I don't know. They just seem lifeless. It's like just.
They looked very solid that game. I mean, they played like almost the entire first period in the King zone, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Okay, we're done."
Yeah, it's almost.
They just haven't turned it back on, apparently.
Well, it's kind of like that one. It's been years since I've seen any of the movies, but it's like in the Mighty Ducks when they play the really good team, which I'm going to say is Kings right now. And even though the Hawks know what they're doing, they're just. It's like tape to tape pass. It's just like they don't look together.
No.
The Kings are making it look bad.
That first goal, a couple sequences before the goal happened tonight, Taves had what should have been an easy clear out of the zone, and he bobbled it, and the Kings kept it in. That's not something that Taves does, and yet here we are, and it led eventually, 20 seconds later to a goal. This one, the second goal was it Keith, I think, coughed a puck up right at Chicago's end line. I mean, you can't do that against a team in the Western Conference Finals.
No. And I don't know. It seems they're lost. I think that's what it is. It's just they look lost while they're out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because the Kings are getting under their skin somehow, but the series hasn't been as chippy as others.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. To me, it just seems like the one of the issues is the press is just not as focused as it is on the Rangers and the Canadiens. Because it's an original 6 matchup, very storied, histories. It's the Canadian team versus the American team. It's Eastern team. It has all that, I don't know, allure to it that makes it what it is. And for some reason, throughout the year, I don't find there's as much drama with the Western Coast teams in general than the Eastern Coast teams, and I don't know if the media has something to do with that. But I don't know if it's also the organizations. The organizations are different.
I do think part of it is having the Western teams don't have the history that the Eastern teams do. But I also think part of it is in cities like Boston and New York and Chicago, you root for your city's team, whether you're a fan of the sport or not. So in the playoffs, all of that comes out. Everything is focused on whatever that team is in that city doing well. And I hear more about Chicago fans, oh, this Chicago fan was a jackass and he did this. This Chicago fan was a jackass. Then, whereas you have LA, which, how many sports teams does the greater LA area have? So you don't have a city united behind one team.
Yeah, and it's also a city where not really true the case anymore, but there's a lot of people from other places that kind of kept their allegiance.
Yeah.
Like my mother's family's from Minnesota, but they moved out there in the 50s or so, and they've always stayed pretty Minnesotan.
Yeah, that's how Dallas is. Dallas, they, at Stars games, and it's a combination of the Stars not doing well for 5 years, and being a city of transplants, is you hear chants for almost every other team at Stars home games, because there are so many people from other cities. Whereas you move to New York, and generally you get swept up, and I'm in New York now. And you have a lot of people who stay there. You have a lot of people from New Jersey, and they all root for the New York teams. So I think there's a lot more, let's put this team under a microscope.
Yeah.
Yeah, the LA media isn't as harsh as most of the teams in the East. I mean, most California teams' media is not very harsh, not terrible. You go to the East, and almost every team is like that.
You know, they got to keep up with their Kimya stuff. Yeah, that's what takes the bulk of the media. And whose celebrity turned out for the Lakers game?
Yeah, pretty much.
And was it Brown who just scored?
Another goal?
Yeah, if it was a penalty against Shark for roughing, but I think it was Brown.
Dear Lord.
The hockey community is really rubbing its grave.
Yes, it was.
I mean, do they keep Crawford in?
Well,
At this point, I don't.
there's 3 goals on 6 shots.
Oof.
Yeah, part of it, now, I'm not saying
2
that
are power play goals.
shots, but part of it is Crawford's not actually getting defense.
Oh, yeah. Well, 2 of them are power play goals.
Yeah.
They need to either tighten up.
I mean,
It's.
that,
Has Ronta played any games in the playoffs yet?
I don't think so.
Ooh.
I mean, all Brown had to do was touch that puck. I mean, Jesus. But, I mean, and not even based on Crawford's performance, do they pull him to shake the rest of the team up? I mean, at this point, what do they have to lose? They're about to be down 3-1 in a series.
Yeah. They are. Give them a go, I would guess.
I would wait until the second period.
Yeah, let them finish out the first.
I mean, there's, 3 minutes left? Less than 3 minutes left.
Oh, that's... Yeah, that's a tough... He's got a 50% save percentage right now. It's not good.
Yeah.
Well, I think this just solidifies the fact that LA is quite frightening. But what I find even more frightening is the way Sutter just handles it. That last press conference, where there's total silence, and then they ask him a question, and he answers it in total silence. So you can hear a pin drop, and he's like, "Any more? Okay."
This is not the Kings team that started the playoffs, that's for sure.
This is not the Chicago team that has played for the past 2 years.
This is not the Kings team that went that really long dry spell without a goal. I just remember because they were all in such sorrow. We can't score, and it's just like the total opposite.
This has been a very confusing series. Because the first game you were like, oh, Chicago is going to run this series. Because LA didn't show up. The second game, oh, okay, so maybe LA is going to play. The third game was at first like, oh, Chicago's back, and then the last 2 periods, oh, never mind. And then this game is, I'm not quite sure what team Chicago has on the ice, but it's not the Blackhawks.
No, it's not.
It's just, it's scary.
Like, I feel like I should start keeping a tally of the amount of times that Hawks players bobble the puck in their own zone.
They just kind of look at, they're skating like they don't know what they're doing almost.
That's not good.
But I want to know what the Kings, like, whatever it is, they should sell it. Bottle it and sell it, because obviously, whatever secret formula they have could be quite useful in many different applications.
Yeah, most definitely.
They look like an AHL team against an NHL team.
Yeah.
Well, if we talk about, if we talk about the Montreal versus the Rangers, so Rangers are up 3-1. Can we see them winning in Centerville?
Yes.
I mean, the first 2 times they won, and I think I don't know how many power plays they had last night. It was ridiculous. It just seemed like that whole first period. I know
So
Yeah.
half of it was.
they've won their other two of their games in Montreal. I don't see why they can't win a third.
I think Montreal takes the next one just because I think it's not like New York has blown Montreal away.
Oh
Except
no!
the first game. I think because I mean the last 2 games went to overtime. Montreal won one and New York won one. So it's not like other than that first game they've been New York walked all over them. I think Montreal goes home, gets a little energy from being at home and from clawing to stay in it, and then I think New York wins in Game 6.
I can see it Game 5 being a 1-goal game that probably does overtime.
I can see Game 5 being, I think chippy would be an understatement. Game 5 being a lot of fights, especially if Montreal is losing.
Well, as a team, Montreal seems very whiny on and off the ice. Particularly on the ice. I just remember a comment that Pierre made last night. He said that the ref had gone over to the bench, and he said that he was telling them to basically stop talking back to the refs from the bench. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because it had gotten really bad. It just seems to me, I don't know, I don't think I was paying that close of attention last night because it's been a holiday weekend, that that there were some that were quite questionable, and then there were things that should have been called that were never called. But I felt like Montreal definitely had an advantage.
Yeah. Right. So we don't have any questions yet, but I'll keep an eye out for some. Do we want to talk about the news that happened today in Washington?
Oh, with Trotz? Yeah.
Yes. Let me get the exact news, so we're not misquoting anything. But the Capitals promoted Brian McClellan to general manager and named Barry Trotz as their coach. Thoughts?
I think Trotz is a good hire. I think it's what people were expecting. I think it's what they wanted. McClellan confuses me a little more. I don't know what to think. I think it's surprising that after the talk of we want a new culture. We want to have new blood. They ended up promoting from within, from somebody who's been with the organization for a very long time. At the same time, it seems like what I've read, he's been in charge of scouting, and he's been very involved with the Hershey Bears, which is their AHL team, and they've done well, and they have a lot of good prospects. It seems like he's done a good job in that aspect.
Right.
So I'm kind of like in the middle on this.
Yeah, I think promoting from within, when you say that you want to change, the vision of the team, so on and so forth, it seems kind of but he did handle their scouting, and they've done a fantastic job with that. So no need to get rid of him. But I think Trotz was a good hire. He's known for doing a lot with very little, and the Capitals have been doing the opposite lately, so he'll do very well.
It can't hurt.
No. Can't be worse than before.
Yeah. They can, at least now, I think they could have a more complete team effort showing.
I do wonder, usually when you promote from within, correct me if I'm wrong, as soon as you fire the one person, don't you at least put the person you want to hire as the interim? And they didn't do that. So I wonder if they wanted somebody from outside, but couldn't find anyone. Nobody became available that they wanted. So
That can
then
make
they're
sense.
kind of like, oh, okay, well, you'll do.
It might have been that they had set their standards really high for a GM, and none of the candidates they had spoke to met what they wanted. So he,
It could have also been discussed before. I mean, we don't know what goes behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I mean, there was I just know recently with the Hurricanes, I don't know what Ron Francis was. He's somehow within the hockey operations, but it was kind of like Rutherford was training him so that it wasn't really a surprise when he was named GM.
Right.
Because he had to get used to how it all worked and all that. So, I mean, they could have, really trusted him and talked to him before, and he said, well, just wait until the next time and we'll discuss it then.
Now, there are still a couple teams that don't have coaches.
Yes. Quite a
And
few,
there are
actually.
a whole lot of coaches available.
Anyone want Carlisle? Anyone? Please? Please? Please?
No, y'all keep him.
Oh, God. I still, when I think about it. I just get so, well, I've noticed that the Leafs Twitter account has now taken to tweeting the Marlies.
Well, the Stars Twitter account is occasionally doing that. Actually, not that often, but
No, the Sabres did that for the Americans, too.
yeah, I mean, oh, well, we're done. I guess we'll promote our AHL team now.
Yeah, I'm more pessimistic. I'm like, well, at least we have something.
By the way, the Marlies are trailing in a game for the first time all playoffs right now. They're losing 3-1 to the Texas Stars.
No. We had something. That's the way I'm going to look at it.
The Marlies have had years of playoff success for the most part.
Oh, yeah. But it isn't the Leafs. I think people are just like, it's something good. But yeah, coaches. I was thinking, I don't know who the Hurricanes have, but they're ones that don't have a coach. Who are the others?
Penguins possibly. We don't know if Belsma's going to stay.
I think if it does happen, it's gonna be one of those Philadelphia type deals. Whereas they're at the beginning of the season.
And gone 5 games in.
Well, I mean, it depends. Just, I really don't see him, unless something really drastic happens. I don't really see him with a trade.
Nashville, Florida, Vancouver,
Oh, yeah.
I believe, are it. And possibly Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and then we saw Pittsburgh looking for a GM, right?
Well, I will be interested if Tortellini coaches again.
Tortellini.
That's what I call him in my mind.
I'm sorry, I cannot stand him. I would not want him coaching my team. I don't want a coach that's going to be good for a year or two, and then all the players are going to be unhappy on my team and either want to leave or want him out. That doesn't sound good.
I think, yeah, Pittsburgh's looking for a GM, but I don't. Where is he's not going to go anywhere. He might as well just give up and start doing, analysis on TV or something.
God, that would be awesome.
He was great at it when he helped for TSN. So.
Oh yeah.
I just want to hear him yell at people. I want him to go on with Mike Milbury, and I want Mike Milbury to say something stupid, and I want Torts to just completely rip him to shreds.
Oh, the dream team: Milbury, Roenick, and Tortellini.
I would do a complete 180 on how I feel about Torts, because I don't think he's an idiot. Well, I'm sorry, I don't think he's an idiot in all ways. I think going to the other team's dressing room, trying to fight them or whatever, that's idiotic. But as far as hockey sense, I mean, I think he's incredibly smart about hockey, but part of you have to be somewhat diplomatic to be a coach.
Well, apparently, just from what I've heard it's radio shows on, so have to take my word for it. But that the players either really like him or they hate him, but they say they really just can't deny how much he loves the game.
Right.
So
Which
it's like they
seems
can learn from him.
a great analysis.
Yeah. Oh wait, and I was wrong. Predators don't need a coach.
Right, they already got a
Laviolette.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's the Hurricanes needing a coach, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Them, Vancouver.
I mean, I don't know. They could get someone who's buddies with Ron Francis or the organization because that's how they roll.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Francis does know a lot about hockey, so I don't know.
Well, there's. I'm trying to think what coaches are available. There's obviously Torts.
Ross is gone.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know who Carolina had that they fired.
They had a former Canadian who was the captain of Canadians when they won in '93, which was Kirk Muller.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
He used to be assistant coach, and now he's who I guess was hired to fix their power play.
I'm thinking we might see an AHL coach.
Yeah, that is true.
Buffalo tried that last year, or this past year.
I don't know. He did say that he knows what happens when you trade a young person and how it affects the future of the team. So in my mind, that means Skinner is staying. So as long as Skinner stays, I'm pretty happy. Because I am not ashamed that if they trade Skinner, the first thing I'm doing is buying his sweater, and the next game they have against the new team he's on, I show up with Skinner's sweater. Because he's honestly part of the reason I go games.
We have a question.
Ooh, what's the question?
Patrick asked us, why are the Kings so good, and will the Hawks win another game this year? Let's reference to the first 30 minutes of the show.
Why are the Kings so good? Well, there's a man named Satan, and they made some sort of agreement with him, and now they're winning. That seems to be the only explanation I can find.
I do think they have like a huge mental thing.
Yeah.
Within their organization. I mean, let's just take let's just take Kopitar. Let's look at what he did with his Olympic team in Slovenia against who were they playing against? That last game where it's just I think there's just like whole never give up. I mean, who knows what Sutter says behind the scenes?
Yeah.
But
if they could hear him.
yeah. But I think a majority of it is mental. I mean, I do think the coaching staff obviously knows what to do. I don't know why they kind of filter in through the middle of the season. I mean, they get enough so they easily get a playoff spot. You know, they coach real well, and then it's like they get playoffs early, so they know they're going to the playoffs, and then they just must have a lot of practices where it's like, okay, playoff time. Get your special underwear on, get your lucky underwear and your lucky socks. Let's go. Thumbs up. And they just, because, obviously with hockey, you have to be certainly talented.
Yeah.
Maybe they use the beginning of the year up until like March, where they just, play around with ideas and lines and things and plays, and just like say, okay, this works, this doesn't, and then it's like we use it all for the playoffs. I mean, I have no idea.
We have another question.
Okay.
Anthony wants to know, outside of the 3 other fan bases, is there anyone actually opposed to the Rangers winning the Cup?
I am actually all for the Rangers winning the Cup.
I am too.
I want to see it. You know why? Because Henrik made me so sad with his face where he tried so hard at the Olympics. And I want to see happy Henrik. I would love to see Henrik lifting the cup.
I mean, and you got to think that they're going to pass the cup to, if they win, he'd get it, right? Because they don't have a captain. He's been there a long time. How long has it been since a goalie got past the cup first?
I don't know. If I have a feeling if the Rangers make it through this series, and I've got a really good feeling they will, Henrik's going to get Conn Smythe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it would be such a nice story, you know, because Moore is pretty much a shoo-in for the Master.
Yeah.
And Henrik, you know, he his whole thing, he's staying with the Rangers, he wants to win the cup. And then, I know people don't like the traitor, but his mother died, I guess.
Yeah, I still have a problem with him, but okay.
I think it would just make a very nice story.
Yes. Because he's going to, I think if Lundqvist doesn't get the cup first, it should be him.
Oh, and there's, you know, Americans on the team that didn't win a medal enough.
Yeah.
So there's my thing right there, too.
But nobody wants sad Lundqvist.
Yeah, I prefer happy and hot Lundqvist.
Everyone prefers that.
Uh-huh.
I
My
think
father
maybe,
said last night, it's a good thing he wears a mask.
Yeah.
Good thing it isn't the 60s anymore.
Yeah, seriously.
Yes.
Let's see, what other topics do we have? Well, we can go over some of the news from this past couple of days. They're just small signings, but reports are that Anders Nielsen signed in the KHL. He plays for the Islanders. That kind of seemed to be what was going to happen. He had announced that he really didn't want to play in the AHL, and Islanders went and signed Halak, so...
I didn't realize he was so young.
Yeah.
Dang.
He's... I mean, I can see why it happened, but he wasn't exactly the best. Though, he's going to be playing for the AK Bars of the KHL. I don't know my KHL teams very well.
We need Locker here.
Yeah, we do. But he wasn't very good.
Granted, the whole team wasn't that good, but
Exactly.
it's not like it was certainly helpful.
Other news for the Islanders, they did sign Halak, and they have opted to keep their first-round pick for 2014, which means the Sabres will get the 2015 first-round pick from them.
That confuses the hell out of me. Everything you read is this year's draft is going to be pretty light. Next year's draft is going to be amazing.
Yep.
So, do the Islanders have a plan and have somebody they really want, or is this the Islanders being the Islanders again? And making the stupid move that everyone kind of goes, huh?
They are, they're thinking that they're going to do better next year with Halak, is the reasoning, and that they're not going to finish and get 5th overall. It also looks bad on any people looking to buy the team that management gives up a pick that high.
Okay.
Because Wang is trying to sell the team.
Yes.
So I think it's a last-ditch attempt for Snow to keep his job.
So in other signing news, the Stars signed yet another goalie. I think we have 30 of them now. Got this one from the Finnish goalie factory. His name is Henry or Henri. I don't know how you pronounce it in Finland. Kiviaho? Kiviaho. They selected him in the 2012 draft in the 5th round. He was the 144th overall pick, and he has been playing for, hold on, the Finnish Elite League.
Ooh.
Which I'm not even going to try to pronounce what it's actually called, because the Finnish Elite League is just what you call it in English. I think the theory behind this is we're either going to so we only have one goalie right now, because Tim Thomas will be an unrestricted free agent, and I would see hell freezing over before we re-signed him. And so all we have is Kari, and they need somebody to back him up, and they want to bring up either Nilstrup or Campbell, and to back Kari up. Therefore, they need somebody to come to the Texas Stars to replace whoever we pull up. So I don't know anything about him. He's young. He's only 20 years old, which is really young for a goalie. But we will see.
Yep.
I hope he's good, because if he's good, we have goaltending locked up for a very long time, like over a decade long time.
Yep. Another signing was this morning. Buffalo signed their first of 12 RFAs available. We signed Nicolas Deslauriers. He's on a 2-year, one-way deal, and he only played 17 games with us, but there's a few reasons. His cap hit is $637,000 a season. The reason it's probably one way is to guarantee we'll have that cap hit should and when we buy out Billy Lano. He did fantastic in the games he played. He can play forward or defense. So he's good. I can understand why we're keeping him.
I just like his name.
Yes. And
I would just like to share this Twitter exchange. The NHL tweeted a picture out of the Staples Center, which is where the Kings play.
right.
And the banner they have for the Kings playoffs is "We are all Kings." So somebody tweeted it, tagging both the NHL and the LA Kings, and the person who is a Canucks fan. Way to steal your slogan from "We are all Canucks." The LA Kings then tweeted back to him, "Okay, we'll change it to "We are in the playoffs."
Is that the LA Kings Twitter account being funny again?
They're hilarious.
I love it when they trash talk stupid fans from other teams. It is brilliant, because now this guy, who no one has ever heard of, has just been exposed to all of hockey Twitter of being a complete moron.
Yeah, that's a fun part of Twitter. It's see, that's
Brought
the
it on
thing.
themselves.
The Western Conference teams, they've been having more Twitter interactions between the official teams and less drama than the others.
And it's so much fun. This is the correct way to use Twitter.
Yes.
I follow the Kings Twitter account. I don't like the Kings. I just find their Twitter account hysterical.
I do the same.
That's proper use of social media, because you have all these people who wouldn't care otherwise following you.
Yep.
And you've got to think that they're turning some of them into Kings fans, and they're turning some of them into people who are going to buy their merchandise and go to their games.
Yeah, that's how it's going to work. Some other news, I know we talked about this last week when it was asked to us, but the finalists for the NHL 15 cover were announced. But shortly after those were announced, somebody actually went through and read the terms and conditions, and it's rigged.
No, it's not. First of all, it's not rigged.
Well,
This is completely normal.
oh yeah.
Any fan vote. This is, I don't know why people are freaking out about this. That's standard procedure for any fan vote.
That's
Wait,
pretty
what am I
much-
missing? Why did they say it was rigged?
I'll read it from their how to participate. The sponsor will consider the voting results when choosing the NHL player to be featured on the cover of the NHL 15 video game, but sponsor will not be obligated to abide by such results in making its decision.
This is where this comes in. So, there are two scenarios here. Now, the first one doesn't really apply for this particular one, because they presented you with limited options in the first place. But if they say, just vote for somebody, this basically prevents the internet, like 9gag, 4chan, Reddit, from hijacking a vote and voting for something ridiculous that they then have to follow through on. The other aspect is, say Bergeron wins the voting, and then Bergeron gets arrested for something horrible. They can say, well, we're not going to use him, we're using Subban because using him would be a terrible marketing decision. Yep. It's a protection, it's standard, it's not rigged, it's in the rules, they make it public. Like, I don't know, people are acting like it's this big, like, breaking news and we've uncovered this. It's right there in the fine print. They weren't hiding it.
No, people just don't read it. And I'm just saying, I was going by the whole revealed thing because that's how it was worded. But I understand why they do it, and I have nothing against it. It's a picture.
I kind of laughed that it was between a Bruin and a Canadian.
I can't wait.
It's like, wait, what?
We didn't have enough of that. But
yeah,
that's...
now it seems like it's damned if you do, damned if you don't type thing.
I mean, I just want it to end. I'm so sick of seeing the hashtag. It's really, really annoying.
I just thought it was funny how they had the Kessel thing up.
That was hysterical.
I've seen some hashtag like NHL 15 pizza going around. The ones like that are kind of funny because it's obvious.
Even those to me have gotten old.
Oh.
Even those to me, I'm like, can we just stop now? Like.
It'll be over soon.
Everyone stop because we want to make Terry not upset with the tweets. So get that out, people. Don't tweet anymore.
I think we only have like a week left, right?
Thank
yes.
God. Yeah, it's almost like the same thing. I'm really glad I'm not really seeing the Red Couch commercials anymore.
Oh, yeah. Some other news that, I'm thinking about it, the IIHF gold medal game was yesterday.
Yeah.
Russia won.
That's a bit of controversy.
Finland got silver and Sweden got bronze. There were some issues with that game that cast a very bad light on World Championships in general.
Some very bad diving. Now, there were some legitimate penalties towards the end of the game, like in the last 6 minutes, that were dangerous hits and whatnot. But there were a lot of hooking and penalty or interference. There were quite a few that was like, wait, what?
Well, that part, it sucks and it's terrible, and I don't think it handed Russia the gold, but it certainly helped them.
Oh yeah, well they had like 39 shots.
Yeah.
Something to the effect. It was massive.
I think the more troubling is the banned Russian coach. Like, I feel, okay, so you can't go back and fix officiating. But I feel like if that had happened in the Olympics, there would be, and I don't know how the world works, but I feel like if that had happened in the Olympics, there would be grounds to
strip the medal,
suspend the coach from international play for a certain amount of years, but but also maybe strip them of the medal.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you strip a team of a medal for a coach's actions, because the coach technically doesn't get a medal.
Just for reference for people who might not know what had happened, the Russian coach was banned for threatening to kill another coach.
Which, when it's a Russian saying that.
Right.
Fine.
Full with the neck thing.
Yeah.
Slicing neck motion.
Yeah, he was sitting in the press box with a walkie-talkie relaying to the coach on the bench instructions via walkie-talkie. And he was not hiding it at all.
Yes, and to make it even more, just picturesque, they threw him up in the air as a group.
Now, are we 100% positive that this is against the rules, that he was not to communicate with the staff?
I would assume so, because that would be the point of banning.
Right, yeah. I mean, and that's how it's been. I know that's how it was when Jurgen Klinsmann was, who's the U.S. men's national team soccer coach. He got banned for a game and in the Gold Cup, which is a North American tournament, and he was not allowed. He could sit in the press box, but he was not allowed to communicate
Right.
during the game. That seems like pretty much standard practice.
So that's one of those things where I don't know if they're gonna take their medal.
And again, do you take a? I think you'd be more likely to suspend them from being involved in international play than taking their medal, because technically the coach doesn't get a medal. If a player did something illegal, I can see, and it has happened where in the Olympics where one member of a team did something and they stripped everyone's medal.
Yeah.
I don't see anything happening. I'm a pessimist.
Yeah, they're not known for doing anything.
It was in Belarus, and you have Putin up in the stands doing his whole, like, I'm secretly happy, but I must show very little emotion. And, there are tons of Russian fans there. I just don't see that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's.
I definitely think it hurt the world as far as people looking at it. A lot of people already look at the world as, well, especially in the Olympic year. Well, we already won the important one for as far as Canadians go. Or other people, well, we lost. Who cares? It's not that important. It's just the world. It's not the Olympics. And I feel like this controversy in the gold medal game hurt their case. That added to it. Now people are like, oh, look at the world. What a joke.
Pretty much.
I just think it's a much bigger deal for the European countries than it is for us.
Yeah, I honestly, the way dear Lord, Tim Thomas was our goalie.
I mean, all the teams that generally finish in the top are the ones that generally are the ones that do well in the Olympics and, are the top team somewhat in the Olympics. So, that isn't really detrimental, so to speak. It's the smaller teams have much more to lose. And, to be honest, I don't know. I just don't see anything happen. I could see it happening if it was like the U.S. or Canadian team, though.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening with the European team. When I say European, not to really be mean, I just mean Sweden, Finland, Russia.
Well, and you also
Czech Republic and Slovakia.
You have the top European league is Russian. They're going to look at it from a, is punishing him going to hurt us? Is punishing Russia going to hurt us more than it's going to help us?
Yeah.
They're not really going to look at it as whether or not it's the right thing to do.
Right.
Morally.
Which is how they should, but
at the same time, they're trying to run a tournament and not run it into the ground.
all right.
So I think there's, if Russia suddenly says, well, we're not gonna go to Worlds anymore, that's a huge blow to that tournament. You have, a huge hockey playing nation saying, never mind, we're done.
Pretty much. Because those fans travel for those tournaments too.
Yeah.
That's money.
Yep. So.
Anything?
We don't have any questions, but I don't see any other new news that I can think of. What do you guys think about tomorrow's game?
I already said, I think Montreal takes this one.
I'd be shocked if they didn't.
I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be somewhat surprised.
I don't know. They've gone out of their way to shock me.
I was shocked.
Yeah, I actually think the Rangers have this one. Maybe Montreal make a last-ditch attempt at staying alive, but I think the Rangers have this one.
That's a good song choice for Mario. That's what they need to play in their arena.
That would be
I
awesome.
just,
Oh,
I just
somebody
knew there's going to
ran
be
a
a whole lot
quick.
of, and I had a feeling there's going to be a whole lot of penalties against the Rangers.
Oof. More drama.
A third of the game will be played on the Rangers PK.
I haven't
Nothing
seen
will happen because it's the.
there actually I haven't seen drama today from the game.
It's because it's a holiday.
Yeah,
People are
It's not
taking
a holiday in Canada.
That is true.
It's a holiday here.
fair enough.
They're wishing they had a holiday. It's a real weekend. They're barbecuing in spirit.
Okay, so we're heading up on an hour, so you gonna wrap it up?
So
Yeah.
All right.
Didn't have anything else to say?
I don't.
All right.
So, I'm Cassie, Sabres fan.
I'm Cora, at least fan.
I'm Terry, a Stars fan.
And thank you for listening. You can check out this podcast and all the others on r/our hockeycast as well as on the web. Coming up tonight, you'll have the After Hour, which I've been on twice now, so it's fun, and feel free to tune in. And thanks for listening.